I think the big thing with Paige is she's just played. I don't think she's done anything out of the ordinary as a leader. I don't think she knows how to lead yet. Right now, it's just been, she plays. And she's trying to, figure her way around college basketball. And that's that's her way of leading right now. I think down the road, she'll become a leader. But right now, I would say her leadership consists of, she's just playing, and she'll make some plays and she'll do some things. But other than that, I don't think she started using her voice yet. I don't think she has started to assert herself in that regard. I have no doubt that it will come. It's just not, it's just not there yet. But right now, more importantly, it's the leadership of make a play when it's time to make a play. The other part, I think, will come.
John?
Coach, John Lewis from the Marquette Wire. Thank you so much for taking the time. Kind of going off of that, what has impressed you the most about the playing style of Paige this season with a dozen games in?
She's pretty consistent in her approach, I would say. She's pretty level. She doesn't get too far ahead of herself. She doesn't get bogged down in what happened the previous play. She's got a great tempo. There isn't any part of the game that she feels uncomfortable in. And that's kind of rare for a freshman. She's got command of the court, and people, around her. She has the ability to raise the level of their game a little bit, and will do so even more as they get more and more comfortable playing with her.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Roger?
How much in trying to improve your defense as you go along, how much of a role does Aubrey play in that, given her height and her athleticism? And then secondly, do you feel her building a little bit of consistency or confidence now that she's had, a few decent games in a row?
Yeah. Right now, our defense is not anywhere near where it needs to be for us to be, a championship kind of, a championship kind of team. We're certainly nowhere near there. And that's obviously something we're going to have to improve on tremendously. And Aubrey can. But to be honest with you, we really didn't get a great defensive effort from anybody, including Aubrey, in the Arkansas game. So you would think that with her length and her athletic ability, that she ought to be able to do a much better job. And I think that was a real eye-opener for her and some of our other guards, and how much more we have to improve. But again, you like to say the season is only a third of the way over, but we're in February, so those two things don't quite go together. But we still have time to get better at it. Let's put it that way.
Sean?
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
You watch some of these games, and sometimes at the end of games or the middle of games, you have 3 and 4 freshmen out there. Obviously, that's some inconsistency sometimes, obviously. But with that, as you get closer to the end of the season where you guys want to be, it's only going to help. Can you lend a perspective on playing those younger players when it really matters?
Yeah, I've actually been thrilled with our younger players. I think they've given us some of the best minutes that we've had this year. So I'm going to continue to play them as much as I can. They're improving, every day. They still struggle with things, obviously, but they're also, they're also in a position where they can overcome some of their mistakes because they work so hard at it. They just really work hard at it, and their energy level is really high. And that's what I like most about it, really, is their energy level. They come and you can feel it when they're in the game, and even the mistakes they make. They're young freshman mistakes, but they're not mistakes of they're not working hard or they're not, extending themselves. I couldn't, except for offensively, I think they do some bizarre things at times. And I wish they would be a little more confident offensively in their game. But at the same time, I couldn't be happier with where they are.
Thanks, Coach.
Geno, you touched on this briefly, but it is February, and we usually talk about gearing up the postseason in sight. Does this COVID-19 pandemic season make that different, or it's still similar? The postseason is 4.5 weeks away.
It doesn't feel at all like we're at that point. I don't know where exactly we would be in games played up to this point, but I know it'd be more than 12, right? Well,
you've won 20 in January, so it'll probably be 20 or 21 games.
Yeah. We don't have much time left, but it seems like we have so far to go to get better as a team to get to where we want to be. We don't have a lot of time left. You're right. There's only 3 weeks. The way it's scheduled now, the regular season is supposed to end March 1st. That's less than a month away. And who knows what might happen in the meantime. How many games might be lost? I don't know. Some teams have played 17, 18 games. We just have to take what comes and see what we can do every day to get a little bit better, be a little more consistent. But it's not anything like I'm used to, But these next 3 weeks, as we wind down here, we can accomplish a lot. We can get, ready for the NCAA tournament. We can get tournament ready. And we have a ton of games coming up. And with not a lot of time in between each game. So we're going to have to get better playing games as opposed to in practice, which maybe not be a bad thing anyway.
Charlotte.
Hi, Geno. To kind of follow up on that and the defense more specifically, how are you, going to try and work on that with this team given the time crunch? Is it something that'll just be best, practiced in those games or kind of fit in between the time of that?
You just spend whatever time you do get. And some of it won't get fixed. That's the reality of it too. Some of it just won't get fixed. Some years, you have the ability to have an elite defensive team, and some years you don't. And no amount of practice is going to make that better. So what we can do is be a little bit smarter about how we guard people. we had a real tough matchup the other day, but because of how well Arkansas shot the ball. When you have a team that shoots the ball that well. But having said that, when you give someone that many uncontested shots, it's it's as much a credit to them that they made them as it is that you didn't work really, really hard to get to those shots. So some technique stuff will get fixed, but some years your defense is just okay. And this might be one of those years.
We go to Dom.
Hey, Geno. Kind of an off-the-wall question, if you'll indulge me, but I know you're very good at, I know you follow all of sports and are good at the historical perspective type things. I was wondering what your take is on what Tom Brady's done this year, the past week, being so good so long at his age, so consistent. What are some of the things that you admire about him, some of the traits from one champion looking at another?
The easy thing to say about someone who wins is they're really talented, which doesn't really explain anything. You say they're really talented, and you start to then break it down and you go, what does that mean when you say someone's really talented? Because that doesn't describe to me, what Tom Brady's done. He's really talented. Meaning what? He has the best arm in the NFL. Does he have the quickest feet? Is he the best athlete? In people's description, by the way, of what an athlete is. Is what does really talented mean? So that way he's just got a lot of talent. So that's what makes him, a champion. I think when you look deeper into how someone gets to be where he is, and then stay there for that long, and be consistently great that many years, it's a special kind of talent. It's a transcendental kind of talent that doesn't. It's not defined in a dictionary or in a way that you can say, describe it for me. It's indescribable, his talent, because the ability to throw any kind of pass, anytime, anywhere, that's a talent. To know when to throw it and how to throw it, that particular pass, that's a talent. That's a gift. To have the mind that he has, and to be able to see what he sees, that's a gift. To be tough enough physically to withstand that many years of the punishment that it takes to be a great professional football player. That's a gift. That's a talent. To keep your body at his age, to be able to perform the way he performs, that's a gift. That's a talent. So you say, well, he's got a lot of talent. I think the word is he has a lot of talents. And more importantly, he knows how to use every single one of those talents that he's been blessed with. And I would venture to say no one in the history of professional football has been able to do it better. That's undeniable. That's undeniable. And all you can do is just shake your head and marvel at what he does. Marvel at what he does. I remember when they were playing the Eagles in the Super Bowl, right? and a couple of years ago. And somebody said, how do you feel about your Eagles and the Patriots in the Super Bowl? I said, I think if we're up 2 touchdowns with under a minute left, I think we have a chance to win the game. That's the respect I think that people have for Tom Brady.
Thank you, Geno.
Go to Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you.
Hey,
So I'm curious. There's been some conversation around the country about conference tournaments and whether it's worth having them this year, especially on the women's side. There's no fans. I'm guessing it's going to cost a pretty penny with testing and bubbling and stuff. And what do you get out of it? And I know you guys obviously have not played as many games as maybe other teams, but what's your thoughts on it? Is it worth having conference tournaments this year, knowing that if something goes wrong and somebody tests positive, that could jeopardize some other things that are more important down the road?
yeah, I'm aware of those conversations, and I've always said that conference tournaments should be a great experience for the student athletes. An opportunity for a team that's on the bubble to play their way into the NCAA tournament. An opportunity for a team to help their seeding. In some cases, in our case, for so many years, is to actually make money on the tournament. For the most part, in 90% of the leagues in America, it's pointless to have a tournament. It's pointless. Only one team's going to the tournament no matter what. So what's the point? You're not making any money. What's the point? Generally, there's no fans at your team at your tournament. So what's the point? So you do it because the guys are doing it. But they don't understand the amount of money and what's involved on the men's side. So it's supposed to be a player's experience. Well, there is no player's experience this year. The only experience is exactly the same experience that they've had every day for the last 6 months. Cooped up in a hotel room, can't go out, no interaction with anybody, nothing. With the understanding that if something happens, which is no guarantee that it won't, a team that does have or has already assured themselves of a spot in the NCAA tournament now gets shut down. So yeah, in some conferences, in most years, it's pointless to have a tournament. Unless you're going to get 4 or 5 teams, 6 teams into the tournament, into the NCAA tournament. It's pointless. Unless you just want to give your kids a fun weekend someplace, which is fine. There's no reason, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's no fun weekend in playing this year. So yeah, this year, me personally, if we didn't have a tournament, it wouldn't bother me one iota. It wouldn't bother me one bit. And some coaches might say, yeah, well, because you think you're in the NCAA tournament, but we're not going to have a chance to play our way in. What can I say to that? I don't know. You've had all year long to play your way in.
We'll go to John.
Coach, I'm not sure how much you've looked at the Marquette film, but as a whole, what stands out about Megan Duffy's team for Friday's game? And what might be one thing that you have to eliminate from their game that has been working for them this entire season?
Are you sure we're playing the game Friday?
I hope so. I know it's one day at a time.
Me too. So Thursday, after we play St. John's, I'll start worrying about Marquette.
Thank you.
Dan Connolly.
Geno, back to the freshmen. I know in the past you've said around this time of year that they sometimes can hit a wall because it's right around the time when their high school season would end and they're playing longer than they usually have. But because it's such a weird season, how do you see the freshmen holding up physically? And do you think there's a wall coming for them, or has it just been too spread out with games to even get to that point?
I don't know, be honest with that. This might be one of those years where they hit the wall in November. I don't know. I know I've been hitting my head against the wall every day since September 1st, so my head hurts. So they probably hit a wall at some point already. And maybe a lot of games is just what the doctor ordered. So who knows? Their best basketball might be just around the corner. I don't know.
And we'll go to Carl to finish up.
Diana signed a new contract yesterday with Phoenix, and it's been reported that Sue's going to resign with Seattle. Diana's multi-year contract, I don't know what Sue's is, but that they're still doing this, their age, and they still want to do it. What does it say about their love for the game, I guess?
Well, it's funny. We just talked about Tom Brady, right? And, they just, let me tell you something. If Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird didn't think they could help win a championship and be big factors in winning that championship, they wouldn't be playing right now. They have too much pride in themselves, too much respect for the game, that if they were just going to hang around and collect a paycheck, they wouldn't be playing. They wouldn't have re-signed. So the fact that they have re-upped means they're in great shape physically, they're in great shape mentally, and they still think they can win a championship. I guess that surprises absolutely no one. Certainly not me.
Thanks.
All right,
I'm still waiting. Once they do sign, I'm still waiting for their contribution to the Geno Auriemma retirement fund, which I know Sue might send me $20, but they will probably send me a bar bill.
Alexa, if you have a quick one to finish up.
Yeah, Geno, I was just curious with we've been talking a lot about urgency today with the postseason right around the corner. Have you seen greater urgency from Liv and Kristen? It seemed like Kristen, especially in the DePaul game, played with that. Liv, it seems like, has struggled a little bit, but do you see kind of that starting to click with them at all, especially as juniors that really need to be on with such a young team?
Well, I thought the DePaul game, both of them played really well. I thought that was one of Liv's more solid games, both offensively, defensively, managing the game, distributing the ball, protecting the basket. I thought that was one of Liv's best games, and I thought Kristen did a great job of getting herself involved in more ways than shooting, from the 3-point line. I think the next step for both of them has got to be, how do I add that level of consistency where every night I'm going to be the same. I'm going to be really, really good every night. For Kristen, I'm going to be good defensively. I'm going to rebound like I did the other day. I'm going to get to the basket like I did the other day. And for Liv, I'm going to be solid. I'm going to be, solid defensively. Take advantage of what I get offensively. Be a good ball handler for my team. Run the floor. So if we can get those kind of consistent performances from those two, that goes a long way towards leadership and towards, giving everyone else a comfort level of this is what we can expect every night. So let's just build on that.
All right. Thank you, Coach. The players will be on in a minute or two.
Thank you.